G'day you beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about split pushing. Now, split pushing, to basically give you the rundown on what it is. The basic reason why you split push is to force the enemy team into making decisions as to how they want to defend. Okay, so it's putting everything in your favor. You do this because you don't want to say have a 5v5 or a 2v2, 1v1, 2v2 scenario. You want to put the numbers in your favor. So what you want to do is you want to set up an unfair advantage, an unfair situation where the enemy has a couple of heroes here, a couple of heroes there, right? So what I generally do when I play Greystone, for example, like you're seeing in the background, I've seen that my team was grouping up for a team fight, and I look over at the start of the gameplay. You saw me look over to see if they were okay. I noticed that they were going to be fine, and they were about to get a pick, so it was going to be a 4v4. So I start split pushing the left lane. Okay, now this means one of two things. Either they're just going to continue to fight, and I'm going to take a tower and perhaps an inhibitor, or they are going to send a couple of players over to deal with me, which is going to mean that I'm in a 1v2 and my team is in a 4v2, okay? If they hadn't have got a pick, it would have meant that I was in a 1v2 and they were in a 4v3. Now, my 4 would have been the jungler, mid laner, the ADC and the support, which is a very, very strong combination. They more than likely would have probably sent the ADC and the support, or the ADC and a mid lane caster to deal with me, or the jungler, which is a lot of damage that they're missing out in that team fight. And the good thing about Greystone is that he can handle himself in a 1v2 and get himself out. So we ended up getting a couple of kills. I ended up taking that lane, the lane 2-2, and then a little bit further on, I'll skip a little bit further forward, and the same thing ends up happening again. But this time I push and end up taking an inhibitor. So right here you see they actually got a pick already, and they got Decker. We lost our jungler. We've got Gideon coming over to help out. So at the moment it is a 3v2 over there. They've got another pick, and the Murdoch was in mid lane. Okay, so I figure that he's either going to continue to defend mid, or he's going to go over into that team fight, which is now a 2v2, okay? If he does come over, which he has, it's now a 3v2. My team has to back off, but it's too late. We're on the inhibitor, and there's no way that they're going to back in time to defend this inhibitor. It's gone. So once again, the split pushing is the act of pushing multiple lanes at a time. There are heroes that are really, really good at this, generally ones that have really, really good lane clear. My favorite split pusher back in the Legacy days was Iggy and Scorch. You could build him really, really tanky. He had a good way to get out with his run and his ultimate to push people away. He had excellent wave clear. And you could sort of push a couple of waves in left, move over to middle, push a couple of waves, move back to left, and just keep the enemy guessing. Keep them moving from lane to lane to defend. And it just gives you a massive advantage. But the best reason to split push is to force unfair team fights, unfair situations where you have, say, a 4v3 and a 1v2, okay? Fair enough, you're in a 1v2, but it's on your terms, okay? So you know that they're coming for you. You're fully prepared for that situation. They're the ones that are coming in to defend. They're actually at a disadvantage. And the 4v3 there should be no way really that you lose that fight, that 4v3. So even if while I'm split pushing left, I don't actually get a tower, your team should actually be able to get a tower in mid lane or right lane, whichever lane they're pushing. Okay, so most of the time what you want to do is you want to make sure that all the lanes are set or even. So at the start of the match, when the two lanes meet, those two lanes are set. Okay, they're completely even. They're not really going to go anywhere. Okay, so you want to do that. You want to reset all the lanes, make sure they're either static and they're not moving, or they're pushing in your favor, okay? And then get your team to group up, tell them to group up, push mid, or group up, push right, and then you go and attack left lane, okay? And just push it as hard as you can, as fast as you can, And once the enemy team notices that you are over there pushing that lane, which once again I'm doing right here, they've got a Greystone down, we've got someone pushing right, we've got 2 people pushing mid while Decker has backed, okay? So it ends up being a 1v1 in right. It is a 2v2 in mid, and Murdoch is moving over to right, pushing Yin back, okay? And I'm just going to make sure that my wave is pushing. So I've split pushed that again, and it's going to go onto the tower. That's going to force 1 or 2 heroes to back and defend, which gives us a numbers advantage and allows us to push mid lane or right lane towers. Okay, so hopefully you understand what I mean by that. I know it's not the greatest example in the background and not the greatest description that I'm giving you, but in general it's a very, very good strategy to just put numbers advantage in either in your favor in certain lanes or just the way that you want them, so that the engagements are on your terms and that they have to sort of on the fly decide to send people here, there and everywhere, because you know what it's like when you're on the receiving end of this. Say your entire team is grouped up in mid against 4 players, and all of a sudden you notice that one of the enemy team is pushing right lane really, really hard and they're about to hit your inhibitor. You might decide that you're going to go and defend it. You call that you're going to go and defend it, but someone else comes with you. It's a bit of a schmozzle and no one really knows what's going on, and by the time you've sorted yourself out, it's kind of too late and there's nothing you can really do about it. So it's a very, very good strategy. It works. The tactic works so well. Once you kind of get a little bit higher into the leagues that apparently do not exist. I understand that it's not, ELO is not real, but no, this works. And when you get to the higher divisions, you kind of have to do this, otherwise you just end up with massive stalemates, just constantly lanes not pushing, and it gets very boring and the matches absolutely drag on. So it's a really good thing to get used to. Try it next time you are in a match. If you see your team grouped up and they, for example, 4 of your teammates are pushing middle and there's only 2 enemy teammates there, and you know that the rest of their team is going to come over, it's going to take them a little bit to get there. It's going to give you a chance to start pushing left. By the time an engagement starts, they're going to notice that you're pushing because you're going to be on, say, their tier 2. They're going to send a couple of people over, which is going to take them a while. Your mid lane is going to have a massive advantage numbers wise. You'll be disadvantaged numbers wise, but you will at least have forced them to leave mid lane, which hopefully you will take. If they don't, you might take left, and if you're smart enough and your team's smart enough and you have right lane pushing as well in your favor, they end up with a situation where they just have to quickly on the fly go and spread out, and there is no way that they're actually going to manage to defend everything. You are going to get something. Okay, so I hope that, once again, I hope that makes sense. I'm not the best at explaining things, but hopefully the gameplay in the background and what I have said sort of sticks with you, and practice makes perfect. So get out there, try it, and see if you can make something happen, especially if you're playing as Greystone. He's a really, really good split pusher. As I said, he can handle himself in a 1v2. He's got enough sustain to get himself out of fights if he has to. So yeah, give it a try. Let me know how you go. And if you have any questions whatsoever, because I know I didn't explain it too well, just leave a question in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But that's it for today, guys. So I hope you find that useful. If you do, please smash that like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Subscribe for more Paragon content. But with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love your face, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.